It's PS Plus time again, the mid-month update which adds a bunch of games to the extra and premium tiers. Every game you see on this video will be available from the 18th of October, a total of 23 games. We've got a lot to get through, so let's do this. First up is GTA Vice City The Definitive Edition on PS4 and PS5. One of the greatest PS2 games ever made has been updated for a new audience. Upgrades to lighting, textures, and the controls have been modernized too. We play as Tommy Vercetti, who gets out of prison in the 1980s and is tasked with starting a new venture in Vice City, which is GTA's version of Miami. 20 years ago, this was a groundbreaking game with a sprawling open world, 87 missions and side tasks to get through, and all fully voiced as well. Oh, and it had one of the greatest soundtracks you'll ever hear, if you like 80s and 90s music, that is. The Definitive Edition is by no means a remake, just an update to let us experience Tommy's journey to the top all over again. Yet another Assassin's Creed game is here. This time it's Odyssey. This action RPG is built on the foundations of Origins, which we got last month, and takes us to Greece in 400 BC. The story does a great job of blending real-life events and the mythology of the time to give an experience like no other. And it can be played through the eyes of two characters, a male and female. You'll be climbing and exploring as you always do in these games, and look, you can even hang on to a statue's junk. What more could you want? The combat once again lets the player decide what weapon to choose, and the constant drip feeding of better equipment is the hook which never lets go. The average playthrough is 40 hours long, and if you're a completionist, you're going to spend over 120 hours achieving your goals. This world is humongous. There are also 5 more Assassin's Creed games added this month. There are smaller 2.5D games, Assassin's Creed Chronicles, China, India and Russia. They are more like mobile games in their simplicity and ease of use, and take about 3 hours to complete, each adding more lore to the long line of Assassin's Creed games. Then there's full-size Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered is set during the American Revolution. We follow Connor as he tries to find his way in the American colonies as both a Native American and the son of a British Templar. AC3 was made quite a long time ago, so don't expect the same variety in weapons, but there are a few brawls in there, and it still had stealth sequences back then too. And there's another one. Assassin's Creed Syndicate takes the series to London in the 1800s as Jacob and Evie embrace their sibling rivalry, and they're pulled in 2 different directions, to liberate London or to discover ancient tombs and take their bounty. So what do? They do both, and they also meet Charles Darwin too. That's a lot of Assassin's Creed games. Next, something spooky for the Halloween month, The Medium, a psychological horror in which we live in 2 worlds simultaneously. The everyday life you and I are in right now, and the spirit realm, where everything is filled with things that make you on edge and nervous. The draw to The Medium is to freely move between worlds, and an act in one world affects the other world, 2 realms connected. The puzzles are designed to have you hopping between realities regularly as you escape a monster like no other. The story takes between 7 and 9 hours to complete. The reviews are all over the place, which is the norm for horror games. Either the atmosphere works for you or it doesn't, so you're gonna have to try it to see what you think. Next, we have a crazy amount of Dragon Quest games to get through, all in vastly different genres. First, Dragon Quest Builders and Dragon Quest Builders 2. Dragon Quest is a Japanese RPG in its roots, but this brings that into the world of Minecraft and carves a single-player RPG adventure, which is surprisingly good. You wake up in the world with one key skill, building. You're the only one who can do it. As you venture further away from home, you'll meet other people with different skills, and without realizing, you're suddenly running a small town and managing the villagers here and keeping them safe at night, like a true guardian. Builders 2 takes this concept further and refines the RPG elements and sets you free with building blueprints and structures however you like. Both games were loved by reviewers with many 9 out of 10 scores. So if you need to get your Minecraft building fix, but you also want a story, give Dragon Quest Builders a go. On the flip side, there are 2 more Dragon Quest games called Heroes. They have a similar title, yet Dragon Quest Heroes are completely hack and slash games. You are given a team of 4 heroes who can be switched between freely, and then you run through worlds wrecking everything and everyone in sight. If anyone stands before you, you're gonna take them down. To get the most out of Heroes, you'll need to know some Dragon Quest basics, as the context of a fight will hit different if you're a real fan compared to someone who hasn't got a clue, like me. And then Heroes 2 once again refines the mechanics and has a considerably higher review score than its predecessor. And wait, there's more Dragon Quest, this time Dragon Quest XI. Okay, this one actually is a JRPG. It's the only one with turn-based combat. It allows for thought to be put into each attack. Tactically satisfying, I think they call that. Each enemy fights differently, and more often than not, a unique approach is needed to battle each one of them. This then tests your tactical skill when more than one type of enemy team up. If you want to get a full dose of Dragon Quest lore, 11 is the best to start with out of the 5 games. It's also the longest, about 70 hours of time will be needed to get through this story and this world. Dragon Quest XI on Metacritic has a 91 out of 100 rating. Okay, let's move away from saying Dragon Quest for the 100th time in this video. Take a look at Inside, an amazing puzzle platformer that tells a compelling story through actions. No words are ever spoken, no context is ever given, yet the narrative is always with you. Avoiding guards, blending in with other people, and using a freaking mind control helmet. Come for the puzzles, stay for the story. Inside is amazing. It's become a norm that we get an anime game each month. This time it's Naruto Boruto Shinobi Striker, a brawler that was previously on PS Plus in June, if it looks a bit familiar. 4 shinobis fight another 4 shinobis. It's that simple if you want it to be. From there it's about mastering moves and combos, and also wall running and ziplining and dodging. They all play important parts in each fight. The real mastery though comes with combining multiple fighting styles into one character. And finally, Hohokum rounds out the games on the extra tier, which is close to impossible to explain, but I'll try. We are a kite that flies through multiple worlds, discovering new people and helping them with mundane tasks. You'll be at a wedding one minute, then helping a mermaid find her way home, then a roller coaster world. It sounds insane, and if you're into these kind of things, look out for it on October 18th. But wait, there is even more. Let's go to the premium games this month. Yakuza 3, 4 and 5, all remastered on PS4, arrive this month. Kiryu earns his retirement, then becomes an orphanage patron and must juggle his new position with being a former gangster. He is then joined by multiple protagonists in Yakuza 4, like a loan shark and a corrupt cop, and finally in Yakuza 5, he tries to find peace between his clan and the Alliance. Kiryu has been through a lot, and it'll take around 100 hours to progress through those 3 stories, so good luck if you choose to do it. We just looked at Inside, and their dev team made another magnificent game before that one, Limbo, and it's here in the premium tier. Another puzzle platformer with no talking at all. We enter Limbo and try to find our little sister. But this place is filled with creatures who feast on children. If we survive all the way to the end, we find out what really happened to the brother and sister, and it'll stick in your mind for the rest of your life. Other PS3 games that have been added in the month of October are Ultra Street Fighter 4, with 44 fighters to choose from in the typical one-on-one format. We have Castlevania Lord of Shadows, a third-person action-adventure which reimagines the mythology of Castlevania. And finally, Game 23, Everyday Shooter. Super simple mini-games you may have seen in the arcades in the 1970s.